Superman Unlimited #1 is here, and it's a fresh jump-in point for new readers looking to dive into the world of Superman. The series recaptures Superman's history while also setting up a high-stakes storyline that will likely play out over the next 12 issues. This first issue is written by Dan Slott, who previously wrote Superior Spider-Man. We see a giant kryptonite asteroid hurtling towards Earth with the Daily Planet building in Metropolis shaking from its impact. But not to worry, Superman's here to save the day. After dispatching the threat, Superman flies off to recover, leaving Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane and company to survey the damage. And the art is done by Rafael Albuquerque, who worked on All-Star Batman. Colors are done by Marcello Maiolo. Let's get right into it. The comic opens with a bang. He's a metahuman, like Supergirl. Unfortunately, the happy reunion between Jean and Jonathan is cut short when Intergang arrives to kidnap Jonathan Kent. Intergang's leader, Bruno Mannheim, reveals that he knows who Jonathan really is and he plans to use him as leverage against Superman. For example, Bruno thought that he could defeat Superman by beating him with his own techniques, but Superman effortlessly counters these moves. It's a testament to just how powerful Superman really is. This is pretty evil if you ask me. Jonathan is just a child and he has no idea about his heritage or powers. Otherwise, he'll kill them. He tells Bruno that he should consider himself lucky, then flies away. He managed to include important aspects of Superman's history without overwhelming the reader with too much exposition. And he set up a great conflict for the future issues. What will Superman do to save the planet K3G without putting the people of New Krypton in danger? The planet K3G is destroying everything in its path, and the only way to stop it is to nuke it with a red sun, which will weaken the people of New Krypton. Superman is one of DC's most popular characters, and he is known for taking on threats that affect the entire universe. It's perfect for anyone who wants to jump in and read Superman comics for the first time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Or if you're a longtime fan, it's still worth checking out. The art is beautiful and cinematic, and the story is exciting and emotionally resonant. The only downside is that there is a bit too much exposition and the facial art is inconsistent at times. But these are just minor gripes and they do take away from the overall enjoyment of the comic. But in this comic, we see that he's also willing to put himself on the line to protect everyday people. For example, we don't need to be told that Superman is strong. We can see that from his actions, and sometimes the dialogue feels clunky and unnatural. However, these are just minor gripes and they don't take away from the overall enjoyment of the comic. For example, he saves a young musician named Jan who was about to perform for the music festival but became frozen with fear. Superman steps in and inspires her to follow her dreams. It's a sweet moment that shows Superman's compassion and kindness, so everyone is sort of screwed. While Rafael Albuquerque does an amazing job bringing these characters to life, there are times where the art feels like it's trying too hard. The facial art is inconsistent, which can be distracting at times. Take this panel, for example. In one panel, Lois and Jean are looking determined and focused. Then in the next panel, their expressions change drastically and they look confused and scared. I understand that this is meant to show their emotional turmoil, but it just comes off as silly. This means that there are some new faces around, such as Ron Troop, Perry White's replacement, Gene Morgan, a somewhat washed-up reporter from Smallville, and Cat Grant, a successful business mogul and former Daily Planet alum. Speaking of Superman, he's currently stuck on a different planet, but he quickly makes his way back to Earth to save the day. And it seems like he might actually be gaining immunity to kryptonite. In the last panel, we see a golden version of Superman flying through space. This is likely a tease of the golden power-up we saw in All-Star Superman. I can't wait to see how this plays out in the next issues. He easily takes out all of Intergang's goons and heads straight for their boss, Bruno Mannheim. At this moment, we learn that the Daily Planet has merged with Galaxy Communications. They even have a kryptonite-powered war machine, which reminds me a lot of John Jones's and Martian Manhunter kryptonite-powered weapon from Justice League War. Meanwhile, we check in on Intergang, who have just unveiled their newest acquisition, Kryptonian tech that will make them extremely dangerous for Superman. And even though Superman is clearly more powerful than his opponent, I thought this was a nice touch because it shows that even gods can be brought down by humans if they have the right tools. Also, it gave us a good display of Raphael Albuquerque's artistic talent. The image of Superman being drained of his powers while still reaching out to try and save the life of this child is both heartbreaking and powerful. It turns out that Morgan was actually adopted and he's been searching for his biological family. He learns that his birth mother died in Smallville and that she left behind an 8-year-old boy named Jonathan Kent. Yes, this is the long-lost son of Superman and Wonder Woman. If you don't know anything about that, don't worry. There will be plenty of time to catch up on that later. As she delves deeper into the story, her editor, Ron Troop, warns her to back off because K3G is a dangerous company to go up against. But this doesn't deter Lois at all. She and her new colleague, Jean Morgan, head to Smallville to start digging up dirt on K3G. Back at the Daily Planet, we see Lois Lane gearing up to take on a huge story about the corrupt CEO of K3G, the same company that gifted the city of Kandak with the planet-killing kryptonite asteroid. And what do they find? Well, the ruins of Morgan Edge's childhood home, naturally. As Jonathan looks up at the sky with wonder, we can tell that he has inherited his parents' superpowers. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that Superman will stop at nothing to save him. I love how the fight plays out because we get some really cool moments. While all this is happening, Lois Lane manages to find proof that K3G is responsible for the death of Morgan's birth mother. But before Superman can make a decision, Bruno hits him with the kryptonite war machine. Now, normally, Superman would dispatch his enemies in a matter of seconds, but this time he needs to take it easy. It's clear that Dan Slott did his research and planned this comic very carefully. Another thing I really liked about this comic was the expansion of the world and stakes. However, there are some downsides to this comic. Also, there's a bit too much exposition in this comic. The ending of this comic is both exciting and hopeful. Despite being weakened by the kryptonite, Superman manages to save Jonathan Kent from Intergang. Overall, Superman Unlimited #1 is a great launch for a new series. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more news, reviews, and commentary on all things superhero.